Hey everybody, this is Mike Cricket 113, part 2 of the Yaesu FT-991 Alpha, buttons I use the most. Hope everybody's doing well and feeling good, enjoying their summer. Maybe working on some projects around the house, maybe in the shack, maybe going on vacation. Hope you guys are having a good one. But I figured I'd stick with the FM. Or the FM, I should say. The 2 meter and the 70 centimeter. We'll stick with the VHF, UHF. One way of getting there from HF is to hit your band button, which we went over before. And that will bring up all the bands and allocations you're able to work, except for medium wave and air, of course. So today we're going to do 2 meter. So if I hit the 144 button, it'll bring me over to the last channel or frequency I was on. You can continue to hit the button again, and there'll be 2 other options in there wherever you were last. Looks like a 2 meter sideband frequency. I hit it again. Another 2 meter sideband frequency. One more time, and it cycles back to where we started with the video. So that will work on all the band allocations. Your 160 through 440. 430 it says there, but that's where the sideband portion starts. That's what's great about the Yaesu 991 Alpha. It's all mode, all band, so you can do all your digital stuff. Also has AM, FM, CW, and your upper and lower sideband for 2 meter and 70 centimeter. Now mind you, on 2 meter and 70 centimeter, you would be using upper sideband. That's correct. That's if you were playing along. But anyway, back to the main screen. So on FM, on 146.520, as you know, is your FM calling frequency. And remember the F button, function button, and that brings up this menu. On that frequency specifically, you would want to be on simplex. See where it, whoa, wow. Let me try doing it this way. See where it says RPT, that means, what does that mean? I don't know. That means, I guess for repeaters or whatever, it's your shift key, but it also puts you in simplex mode. So when you're in simplex, if I key up real quick, you'll see that it stayed where it was. And if I was in a positive, it would shift positively. Negative, it would shift negatively. So that's that button. You could use that here. Your tone button, I have it on encode. If I hit that, you have your CSS button, and then you can put in whatever your tone is, okay, for your repeaters. And I forget what the D encode is, but then you have your DCS button. Hardly ever use that one. Never. Actually, you know what? On this radio specifically, I do not. Some repeaters may have it on there. Maybe you set your own repeater up and you use one of those codes. But normally, I just leave it in code, okay? And then you just pick your tone, okay? A repeater, you'll find out what the repeater PL tone is, and that's the tone button right there. If you want to adjust it, you just hit the button, tone, and then you use your multi knob right here, and then you adjust it, okay? So there's that. What else can you use? Say you're on a repeater, and you want to, let's see here. Let me get on a repeater. Another button you'll use, right now we're in memory mode for some reason. I don't know why. But see this V/M. That's V as in VFO, which is the big knob. M as in memory, okay? If you switch over, that puts me on the 20 meter calling frequency apparently. And another button I use quite often, if I can find it. Let's see here. It's not going to show me there. For some reason, it's called Mitch, and for some reason, I call it Mitch. It's MCH, okay? Memory channel. I call it Mitch. But when Mitch is there, you hit that, and then you use your multi-knob again, and it will cycle through all the repeaters you have, okay? So it'll cycle through your repeaters. I was talking about the REV button. Okay. So on this particular repeater, we're listening to the people's audio on 442.5 there. And then the input is going to be 447.5, okay? And that's for 70 centimeter there. So say you hear a guy and you're wondering if you can hear him on the reverse, meaning you can hear him on 447, then you would hit the reverse button, and then that puts the receive area up top here so you can listen to him. And then maybe you want to enjoy the conversation or join the conversation. Just make sure what you do is you put, and you can see how it's blinking there, just make sure you put it back the way it was so you can key up the repeater. So the reverse button's fun to use if you want to figure out if a ham nearby is near you, okay? Yep, there's somebody out there. And actually that repeater doesn't sound like it's very close. It's probably pretty far away. So let's see what else we got up there. Up, and there's my simplex frequency. And there's a digital section there. So yeah, let's talk about digital a little bit. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to. Let's see what happens here. I think it'll take us to 520. There you go. We're gonna go back to a simplex frequency I mentioned, which I use quite often. Okay, we're in FM right now. So as a technician, well, we're going to talk about digital, but as a technician, there's certain simplex frequencies out there, and they're listed. You can find them online or in a book. But this one I use quite often. You could use FM on there here. With this radio, you could talk AM here if you wanted to. You can do CW if you wanted to, but most cases people are in the 144 area. But if you really wanted to, you could. And upper and lower sideband if you really wanted to. So all the same. But say you want to do some beaconing. I call it beaconing. They call it group monitoring on this. But let me explain what I'm talking about here. Okay. That's not it. Mode. That's the button we use quite often. Mode. And this would also be a button you would use on HF as well. The mode button is going to be what mode you're using. Now, as you can see, you have your upper and lower sideband, your AM. Right now, we're in the blue. We're on FM, as you can see. Then you have your C4FM, your data FM, and RIDI. So these buttons here, these two and these three, I don't use them at all. I don't do any digital modes. I'm a rag chewer. I don't do that. The more technology, the way I feel about it, the more technology there is, the more things can screw up and aggravate the hell out of me. So I don't bother doing that. But I do use the C4FM button. So if we want to talk on there, we hit the C4FM button. And mind you, we are in DN. That means digital narrow. This button right here is your digital. Digital narrow, if you're using the group monitoring function, which I'll show you what it is in a minute, is DN is narrow. You want to use that. Narrow meaning it's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's like 6 kilohertz wide, as opposed to voice wide, I guess it is. That's for like rag chewing. If I had a buddy who had a Yaesu FT-400, right? And we were chatting, we would want to chat with wide. It just broadens your width, widens your signal, okay? And that would be about, 8 to 10 kilohertz wide, okay? But when you're doing the C4FM and you're doing the group monitoring function, you want to be in digital narrow, okay? So the group monitor function, what is it? Well, let's hit it. So what it does is if there are other people that are on that frequency, okay? Say you have a group of friends that you all want to meet up on a certain frequency, on a certain mode, which is C4FM, and you want to know if they're there. So you're basically, what the radio is doing right now, and I'll kind of show you here. Hopefully it goes off in a second. You'll see a red light up there, possibly. There you go. What that just did is it just keyed up my radio and it threw my call sign out into the world, okay? And if any station is nearby that picks it up, or I should say if the radio picks up their beacon, it's going to come up on the screen right here, okay? It's going to come up on the screen. So that's a fun little option with C4FM. You don't just have to do the beaconing. I mean, you could literally just set this and walk away and then come back. And if you hear somebody talking, you can just pick up the microphone and start talking to them. It's digital. It's kind of like, all right, you've Skyped, you've what's that other thing those office people use? Skype and the other thing. But anyway, you know what your phone sounds like, and you know what Skype sounds like, and that digital process sound. That's what it is. D-Star, DMR, All-Star. All-Star's audio is really good. Echolink. It's all digital format, digital voice. So if you're familiar with that, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is a good function. If you want to get out of it, you just get out of it by the back, using the back button, and then your radio starts transmitting your call sign. It will also transmit your the distance you are away from the other station if they hear it. You know, if the other radio out there in the world hears your your beacon, it'll tell them how far away you are from them. So I've been able to work a few stations on 2-meter C4FM, but you can also use it on 6-meter. Sorry, you could use it on 6-meter on the Yaesu with C4FM. And also 10-meter, but you're not supposed to use it any higher or the lower bands because of the bandwidth. Most people are using sideband, so it's kind of like would bury them. But anyway, that's the deal there. So that's the C4FM a little bit, and I do it sometimes and sometimes not. There are repeaters, like this one here, that you basically go in like you would a normal analog repeater, but you're going in via digital. Yaesu's platform of digital mode. So that's that. So we're getting pretty long in the tooth here, as you know. Let me go back to the function. Well, let me go back here to the VM button. I put it back into VFO mode. Go back into the function button. Now on FM, like I told you in the other video, your noise filtering does not exist. If I find it here, yeah, noise blanker not there. Your automatic gain isn't there at all. Your attenuation button, which is down there, your IPO, your preamps does not work. Nor does any of your other, see how they're kind of grayed out? Nor do your notch, contour, DNR, or DNF filtering, or your width or your shift work on FM. So it's mostly just the preamp from the radio. So there's a little bit of that. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope that was helpful. I know I get a little off track here and there, but we're trying our best. This is Mike Cricket 113. I'll say 7-3 for now. Hope the conditions are great out there for you. You make some contacts, make some new friends. Take care of yourself. 7-3.